Dear friends, welcome to my video. In this video, we'll see how to integrate the Open AI Chat GPT model, the latest one. I think no, latest is GPT-4, but still GPT-3.5 in your Android app. So let's begin. We'll create a new project and empty activity. I don't want to spend too much of time on the UI part, and then we can name it as Chat GPT 3.5 integration. Yeah, you can name this app anything, it doesn't matter. Rest of the things I'll leave it as it is probably and click on finish. Wait for my environment to load. It might take a while for it. When the environment is loading up, in the meantime, I can show something. So we'll be referring to a couple of pages from our documentation. So this, if you go to the documentation website, I'll post this link in my description as well. So here, if you go to the chat part, and this is what we'll be using. So we'll be using this as our endpoint in our Java code, and of course they have given it in the curl command will convert it into the JSON object, and this is the response which we'll be reading to get our output. And apart from this, if you go to your login, like you may have to create your login credentials and all, which I have already done it. And if you go to your manage account, then over here you can see a few things which I can quickly show. If you go to the usage page over here, then I think by default they are giving some free credits also right now. However, you can also add your credit card, and it's very negligible usage over there. So this is one thing. And also you can also check in this user space. If you come down, you can check day wise the breakdown and all. And the other page which will be important for us is this API key page, where we'll create a new API. So let me create that right away. So just click on this and you can name it anything. So probably I'll say Chat GPT model 3.5 demo. Yeah, and create this. So they will display the key only one time. So if you note, you won't be able to view it again. So just make sure you copy it and save it somewhere. So I'll go back to my same. Yeah, I have this text. I will copy it twice. Sorry, by inadvertently I should not be able to delete. I should not be deleting this API key. And then you can click done here and it will come here. Please note, I will delete this, so don't use my same API key because it's also risky for me if you use it, and moreover it will consume my usage, my billing. So I'll definitely delete it. Don't use the same, but I wanted to show you the process, which is pretty much simple to create your API key once you have logged in. And moreover, the steps for creating your account and all are very much straightforward. You can create it and then start the you can, if you get the free uses of $5 or $18, well and good. Otherwise you can add your credit card on that. Okay, now coming to my Android studio environment. My environment is loaded up. First and foremost, what I'll do is I will implement, or I'll include the Volley libraries which we'll be using for this in this project. So implementation, and what I can do it is com.android. Oh, okay, and go to, yeah, volley. And I think this is one what we'll be using 1.2.1. Yeah, so this is provided by Android itself. And after that you may have to do sync now and wait for a while for the syncing to happen. Now in this code, probably what I'll do is I'll quickly create a public method, public void probably button Chat GPT 3.5, or we can use this for in fact 4 also. So I'll just put it as Chat GPT and view. Perfect. Now first let me quickly complete my layout as well. So I need this part. No, I think I need this also for one more thing. Sorry, before I go into the layout, I'll quickly go to the manifest file, and here I'll include a permission to access the internet because we'll be transacting over the internet, so we may have to include that. Yeah, no, I don't need manifest file, so I'll go to this layout. Over here TextView they have given by default. I think I'll retain it because I can use this to display my output. I'm not doing any fancy layout here. I'm very simple and straightforward. And then I'll add a button, say for example I can name this button anything, Chat GPT, and I'll just give some constraints and add the on click attribute over here. Yeah, to the method what we define in the Java code. That's all. So I kept it simple intensely. I don't, of course, it will be more if you are developing a full-fledged app. There will be more interactions over there. However, I kept it intensely. I'll also run it in emulator in the so that at least emulator comes up in parallel when I'm doing the complete code over here. And now let me begin. So first and foremost, what I'll do is I'll create a private class variable which is TextView, and this will point to the widget what we have defined in our layout, which is find id r.id.textview. Yeah, by the same name we have kept there. So we'll be using this to display our output. Now in my okay, I think I can just minimize this, make it much more smaller. And now in my this method of Chat GPT, this is place where we'll start our code. For that, we can probably define some of the class variables which will be required in this code. So let me quickly go back to the documentation and let me show certain things here. So in this one, if you see, we will use this as the endpoint, right? So we may have to use this. So let me Control C, bring this over here, and probably I'll define a class variable which is of course private of type string, and this we can name as string URL endpoint. The name of the variable doesn't matter again, yeah, but whatever you want to probably do this way, and I can delete this part. So make sure you have given the correct endpoint. Better to copy paste directly, because I'm not sure if you are aware the legacy ones, I think that was the DaVinci and all, this was the endpoint and which is different. So many people are doing that mistakes. This is, so make sure you have used this as the endpoint for GPT 3.5 turbo. So it keeps changing, so you should always refer to the documentation page over here. Okay, so what other things I'll need is my API key, right? What we have taken. So that will ensure that the whenever we are calling the APIs, it refers to the right account which is calling, and also billing will also be done accordingly. So I can API key, and that we copied in our this file, right? If you remember correctly. So I will just copy this from here. I think there's a space, but let us take in this. Okay, make sure there is nothing else apart from the this one. So that's why I copied twice, to make sure that even if a particular letter is or a particular character is deleted, I from one of these I know what is the accurate one. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I think these are the class rules which I'll be needing. As of now, I can't think of. Probably I can do one more thing. I can define something like string and output. So this, in this we will print our output one by one, or concatenate the output one by one. Perfect. So now let me start here. So first and foremost, I will create is my JSON object. Yeah, this one. Okay, and you can name this anything. Doesn't matter. And just create is a new JSON object type. Okay, perfect. Probably I'll create some try catch here. Now let me do one thing. I will not do it manually. Anyway, to prompt, right, when I start doing the coding. So let me use this JSON object, and one by one I start putting the things what I want. So it's basically the name and value pair, right? So what about the name? So one is the model. Okay, so here also again you'll have to refer to the documentation over here. So one is the model, and what is the model? This is GPT 3.5. So again, it's better that you copy it directly from there and don't try to put it. Yeah, okay. So model is one thing what you will require. I'm not sure why it doesn't. Okay, this must be giving error because of the try. That's what I was trying to do initially. Anyway, so this is one thing, and apart from that, what else I need is I need probably the message part also, and some of the other things I can put. So let me quickly go back in the documentation and see what else can I put here. Here is okay. So if you come here, so I think model and message the primarily two things they are saying. But if you scroll down here, so they are giving lots of options here. So what all things you can add is something called temperature. So I can go in details, but yeah, you can read these things offline. And then topic, stream, max tokens is one of the interesting parameters which you should define. And then there should be something called user and all. But I'll skip all these things to keep it simple, and I'll just define. I think I've already put model. The second one will be the messages over here, right? So I'll just put the messages, and then the input of message will be something like we have to put this role content and blah blah blah. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll create another JSON over here to do this. So okay, so let me do one thing first. Let me just copy this sample my Java code to keep it here. Okay, I don't think I need this. Okay. Yeah, so I will also come back to here. First let me create a this JSON file out of this particular this structure. Okay, so user and then the content. So let me do that. For that, first I'll create something called JSON array, and JSON array of what, of message, and this will be new JSON array. Okay, and in this JSON array I will put them okay, first let me also create one more thing, one more JSON object, and that will be JSON object 1, and what, this will be again message, and this will be new JSON object. Perfect. Now in this JSON object, first we'll create this kind of structure. So let me create that JSON object message dot put, and again here put will be one, will be role, right? So first let me control C. So first will be role, and what will be role? So I'll just keep it this also simple. Probably I will make it like role as user, and the other one could be what, the content. So content, so again I'll copy this one as a name, and value of content will be the actual question which you can ask. So probably I'll say write a poem about clouds, or anything you can ask. Okay, of course it's artificial intelligence. Yeah. So I think once it's created, so I think I don't need this line of 48 anymore. I'll just remove it, and then I'll add it in that array JSON array message dot put, and I can put this JSON object as an array, and this array message I can put in this line number of yeah, over here, JSON array message. Perfect. So this is how we can structure that whatever they have defined over here in a form of the in this structure. You can also write it in a string form, but I find this as a better approach. Perfect. So now once we have it, I think so. Yeah, we have the model, we have the message created. So I think that's all is what I need. Now I can proceed with the response over here now. So if I go out and I create something called JSON object request. So I think it will prompt you to include from the Volley library. Just press Alt Enter, and that should be fine. And by the way, if it doesn't prompt, then you may have to add it manually. Anyway, I put my complete code in the description below, so just add this line number 9 over there. Yeah. If I scroll back down, so what else we'll have to do is we'll have to create the new object type over here, and the method will be, it will be a post method, of course. So request dot, I'm not sure why, no, I think I chose the wrong one. Request dot method, yeah, dot and post. Yeah, this will be my method, which is the first argument, and then the second one is the URL. That's what they are asking for, right? So that we have endpoint, right? This one string URL endpoint, and then third is the, which can be a null over here. So but we need that, right? We need to read the response, so I'll not definitely let it go as null, and I'll just mark it as response dot listener. This one, I guess this should be fine. And in this type we can add as a JSON object, of course, and probably it will give me, yeah, this is what I was expecting it to prompt me to implement all the required methods over here. No, I think what I'll do is over here I'll add the, this is the response one. Now I'll add the error listen, which is this last argument over here, and that also probably what I can do over here is new response to the error listen. Yeah, perfect. So now if you notice everything is fine. If I give a full stop here, I'm not sure why this is still giving some warning. So I think we can do this. No, I was expecting it to go. Let me see what else they are expecting here. add a static import for this method. I don't think it will help out. Yeah, so for the timing I'll leave it as it is. Let me just finish the code quickly. Yeah, so over here what I think is we may add the override methods for adding those headers. So get I think override, I was expecting it to, yeah, this is what I was expecting it to come here. And I think the method which I may need is probably, I'll just type again here at the rate of override. No, not here, sorry. I'll just move it, and yeah, after this, yeah, over here, if I come here again, override, and what I need is parse network, yeah, this one, perfect. Oh, no, 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 not this one. Let me control that. Wait a minute. This one. Okay. So once we have it, looks good. Yeah, now my structure looks fine. I'm not sure why it is still giving error. Okay, I think I got it. I should have added this JSON object as well over here, because yeah, the signature was not complete. I missed this third argument over here. Fine. No problem. If I get into this nitty-gritty, let me complete this code as well. So yeah, once we have formed this JSON object request, we may have to post it or queue it up, right? So first let me do some kind of basic integer timeout period. You can name it anything again, okay? And probably it's in milliseconds, so I can go for what, once yeah, 1 minute up to, yeah, it depends on your, yeah. 60 seconds timeout is defined, timeout duration defined. So you can change it as per your convenience. And then what I can do is we can do something called as retry policy, and this is again a part of volley, so just press alt enter to initiate it. And then this will be new default retry policy. And here I'm not sure why it's not prompting, but I think the first argument will be in timeout, and yeah, the maximum number of retries. So that could be, probably we can leave it as whatever the default I give, max try is perfect. And whatever the one more argument I can side, this is back of multiplier, and that also probably we can leave it as default back of multiplier. Perfect. So once we have it, probably it's a long name, so I'll just make it into multiple lines over here. Once we have it, what else we can do is we can just add our JSON object request to set retry policy, and the above one what we have just now defined, that could be our retry policy. Perfect. So now once this is done, we can just call our volley dot probably new request queue, yeah, perfect, this one, and get application context for the first argument. And then I'm not sure why it is coming with that, and then I can add it the request, which is our basically the JSON object request. Perfect. No, I think our more or less structure is done. Now the only thing we have to do is we have to read the response over here. So if I scroll back up here, and this is the method where we'll get our response in this particular uh, return type of in this particular variable. But before I get into it, let me go quickly back to my documentation. And over here, if you see for Chat GPT 3.5 Turbo, the response will be something like this. This will be the structure, and the return will be in something called message content type of the index 0. Okay, so that's what we'll be reading over here. So we'll go here and we'll take something called string probably text, and that will try to derive from this response. So here just be careful. What we have to do is first we have to get the JSON array. So JSON array, and the string name will be choices. So you can type it also, but I always prefer to better to copy paste to reduce the chances of any error. And once we have it the choices, then what else you can do it is we'll have to get the index, right? So get JSON object of index. Index will be 0 as I already told, and then dot get, I think again JSON object, because right now we have to get this particular object of name message. And if I go back here, this is what it will be, and then get JSON string, and this will be the final name, which will be the nothing but content. Yeah, I'm going back and forth, I know, but yeah, anyway, whole code I'll make it available in my description. So once you have it, then what you can do is you can just simply print it, this one in the text view what we have just now defined. Text view, set text, and or probably what I'll do is, wait, I'll do before that one more thing. If you remember, we defined a class we will call string output. If you scroll up here, yeah, so I wanted to concatenate the output one on top of the other. So yeah, this is what we can do, so that to make sure none of the data is getting lost, and then we can use this as my output to be printed over here. Perfect. So I'm not sure why this is given here. Let me see. Yeah, strong with try catch. I don't have any issues over there. Okay, so once we have done that, what else we can do is we can, yeah, we can just at least update our error part and all over here. And or yeah, if you want you can put a toast or something, but I think I'll just skip it for a time being. So next important thing will be headers. Yeah, this will be an important section which you should not miss out, otherwise you get issues. So what you can do over here is create a map as this written type. So we can probably use this one only as Control C, Control V, and you can name it what, map header. Okay, and this one probably new hash map. This will be fine, I guess. Yeah. So now once we have created this, what we can do is we can put the objects one by one. So there are two objects which are required. One is the, okay, let me go back again to the documentation to see if they have given that or not. Yeah, these are the two headers. If you see by the -h part, one is the authorization and other is the content type. So probably what we can do is we can again probably copy paste, Control C, just typing, because again I don't want to do the mistakes over here. And then the second part will be the this one bearer, Control C, and but we have to follow it up with the API key over here, the Open AI API key, so which we have already created in our class variable open string API key. The other one what we'll need over here is put, and again I'll go back, I'll better copy paste. This is the content type, right? Content type will be type JSON. So the good part is most of the things are anyway given. You have to just copy paste yeah, the arguments in the correct way. That's all, I guess. So don't forget to add the headers, and then I think probably what you're going to do is you can just return instead of super headers. No, that should not be done. It should be returning our header over here. Yeah, so whenever this particular method is called get headers, we'll return our authorization and the content type from this one. If I scroll further down, I think the rest of the things I already were done, so I can rerun this code and see how it works out. So yeah, code is coming up, and if I click here, let me see how it turns up. It may take a while for the first time, probably, I'm not sure. Or what was our question, by the way? If I scroll, question was write a poem about the clouds. This is probably a bit complex. Yes, everything looks good to me. This should have worked. I'm not sure why this is not giving any output over here. How I could have done, okay, I can debug the code, but before that, let me quickly check all the things. One more way you can check is you can go to your what, the account. As I told earlier, right? You can manage account, and you can see in the usage whether there is some activity at a current time or not. So yeah, you can go and see, but I don't think there is anything happening. So I checked it. There is no current activity which happens. So that means my calls are not happening definitely. Let me go back to the code and see what is going wrong here. So object and everything looks good in the header. I think the mistake which I did was, I think I got it after bearer there should be a space if I'm not wrong here. And if you see here, there's a space here, so that's the thing which I'm missing out if I'm not wrong. So let me try that by giving a space and see if it works. Let me rerun the code and see if it works out. Perfect. So okay, after giving the space I was expecting to work, it's not working. Let me try to rerun it and let's see. I've checked the code. I paused the video for a moment and checked the code. Everything looks good to me. I'm not sure why it's not working. So let me quickly see. It may take a while. That's fine. But however, uh, on debugging, it seems like yeah. Wow, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so this time it worked. So if I can go to the right hand side, so what we asked the question to the GPT model is to write a poem about the clouds, and that's what I can see. It's of course in a small text, and my intention is not to get the output. My intention is to show whether it works or not. So it works in a very beautiful way. So perfect, perfect. So that's all I wanted to show that how easy it is. Like yeah, you can use this volley library to create a JSON object and then call the Chat GPT model. The latest one is GPT 3.5. I'll also make a video on the legacy one, which was the Da Vinci model. Yeah, you can use that as well if you are used to that one. So perfect. If you have any questions or suggestions, please put in the comment section below. And okay, probably I can run it once more just to see if it works fine or not. So I clicked again. As I told, it may take a while because we have given a very open question, right? So, and if we are aware of ChatGPT, that it will type one by one all the buttons and all the letters and all, so it will fetch it in one go and then it will try to type it over here. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So I hope this video is useful to you. If you have any questions or suggestions, please put it in the comment section below. And if you like this video,